Alright, I'm starting with Discord, though I only have one question. Ever heard of a little indie game series called Guns, Gore, and Cannoli before? Right after I saw this question, I saw some gameplay footage. I mean, I don't know, the game looks kind of funny. It also looks really cheap, but I guess that's also part of why it's funny, so that's my answer. What's your earliest memory of animation? I mean, I guess I'd have to point at Hanna-Barbera cartoons, mainly Scooby-Doo, the Flintstones, Jetsons, Top Cat. I vaguely remember them being one of the first few cartoons I watched on Cartoon Network. There are some originals as well. I also remember Ed, Edd n Eddy, Courage, Dexter, and Powerpuff Girls. Like, they're very much embedded in like my earliest memories of being alive in general. You know, it's kind of funny because my parents told me that I started watching Cartoon Network when I was 5. I mean, they specifically referred to the fact that I gained access to it around 2002. But that doesn't really make any sense because I remember being familiar with a lot of the shows when I was 4. So, it's very hard to say. On a scale from 1 to 10, how gay are you? Now go look for pictures of Totsuka Saika and answer this again. I'd probably place myself around a 2 or a 3. And as far as Saika, I mean, I don't know what to say. I've already had a debate regarding the whole traps are gay. So I guess I'm gonna have to expose my side. I don't think traps are gay. I think that if you are attracted to a trap character, it doesn't necessarily make you gay. I mean, with Saika, what does make things a bit more confusing is that he dresses like a tomboy. So I can kind of understand why in this scenario it could be a little bit sketchy, but I don't know. I still think that he mostly looks like a girl, so I don't know. I don't think it's gay. What kinds of games do you like? This really depends on what year you're referring. Because I feel like every once in a while, my interest in games slightly changes. For instance, back in 2012, I would say that I was mainly interested in sports games. I was interested in the idea of playing games that are based on some kind of sport in real life. But eventually I kind of lost interest in that. In 2017, I would say that I started getting interested in licensed games, but then I also started to lose interest in that. Today I would say that I'm more fixated on anime based games, but I'm pretty sure that in a few years from now I'm probably gonna lose interest in that as well. So I guess you can say anime games for now, but don't be surprised if that changes. What are your favorite and least favorite YouTubers? As far as favorite, I mean, this answer is probably gonna come off as a bit biased, but I think my favorite YouTubers are Best Guy Ever, Digibro, and Endless Chess. And funny enough, they also happen to be a part of the PCP podcast, but I don't know what to say. Like, I think they're some of my favorite. I can't think of that many channels I like more than fucking Endless Chess. I'm sorry. I guess I could also point out a few power scalers I like, mainly Seth the Programmer and Swagkage. I think they're... I mean, I don't know if I like them more than other channels. It's more so that I watch them a lot more than other channels because they're some of the few channels I really care about, while most channels on YouTube I kind of just lost like all interest in. Little fun fact, I haven't watched a cartoon review in fucking months. As far as least favorite YouTubers, fucking, I don't know. I don't like countdown channels. I can't really pick one because I think they're all the fucking same, so yeah, my least favorite YouTubers are fucking countdown channels. What are your thoughts on PUBG? I played a little bit of PUBG. I thought it was kind of fun. Didn't really play much after that one brief 45-minute section. I don't know, I'm not really super into shooting games, so that doesn't really help. I mean, as much as I like Battlefield 1, I'd much rather watch someone playing it than me actually playing the game because, well, for starters, I fucking suck at it, and I also just don't really have the fucking patience to play it. I'd like to hear your thoughts on tokusatsu. Do you think they have in common with anime? I don't really watch that much of tokusatsu media. I mean, I think it's kind of endearing. It's something that I probably enjoy if I really tried, but I don't know. I'm kind of an animation tard, so it's very rare for me to actually watch things that are live action. What's your current relationship with Trafon? Have your feelings on him calmed down? Do you still hate him? I don't know if I've ever hated Trafon. I'm just annoyed by him. I will say that after I muted him, I slowly began to forget that he even exists, so I guess you could say that my feelings on him calmed down, but I don't know, I wouldn't say that they changed. Every single issue I had with Trafon back when I still cared are still there, because there are times when for some reason he gets attention for some tweet he made. I mean, I don't know, I don't think he changed. I just have a hard time believing that he somehow got better or my opinion suddenly became more mellow. So I guess that's my answer. Moving on to my community post. Nice light in the picture, thank you. What are your favorite cartoons besides Billy and Mandy? Fuck, there are a lot of them. Gravity Falls, Symbionic Titan, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Powerpuff Girls, Johnny Bravo, which I haven't seen in a while, but I'm pretty sure that I would still enjoy it. Samurai Jack, there are a lot. I'm not just gonna fucking list all of the shows that I like from my childhood. And what other episodes of Billy and Mandy do you dislike besides Heartburn? I think I would point out that one episode, I don't even remember the fucking title, but remember that Snake Club? There's another episode where they showed up. It's from the last season as well. Fuck, I don't remember what happened because it was extremely boring. Like, I didn't think it was that funny. I thought the premise kind of sucked. It wasn't really that interesting. It was by and large a pretty dull episode. What are your thoughts on South Park? I'm not a big South Park watcher. Another confession, I only started watching South Park around 2017. Before that, I didn't really have any exposure to the show. I mean, I've seen a decent amount of episodes. I think it's really damn good. I think it's really funny. I think it's really clever. It offers a lot of really cool, really smart social political commentaries. So it's a good show. I like it. Now it's time to move on to the comment section of the video of me announcing that I was gonna upload a Q&A. Question: have you ever thought about doing other anime game series like the Bleach PSP or DS games, or other Naruto games like Clash of Ninja? The answer is yes. I've definitely thought about doing other reviews of other anime based games. I just need to find the right inspiration for it. You mentioned Clash of Ninja, which I really want to play it, but I do not have the right console. And this really bugs me because it does seem like, at least the later Clash of Ninja games, they look pretty damn cool. It's probably something I would enjoy, but I don't know. I'll have to hold it off for now. I've played Rise of Ninja. It was okay. I was planning on reviewing Rise of Ninja for Xbox 360. I kind of lost interest in talking about it. I don't remember why, I just kind of forgot. I'm pretty sure I even started writing a script. I just forgot. I was like, I don't fucking care anymore, and then I move on to other stuff. I might end up uploading a review of that game, but I don't know. I want to play I want to play Broken Bond before I begin to consider reviewing that entire series of games. As far as other anime-based games, like, it really just depends on me having the right inspiration or not. But it is something I am interested in, and generally when I'm interested in something, some type of YouTube video just comes out somehow. It may not be that much, it may even take a while, but it eventually does. So we'll see what happens in the future. What is a game, movie, book, television show you wish more people would talk about, like Super Robot Monkey Team Hype Force Go? At the top of my head, I would probably say Time Squad, because Time Squad is really fun and no one fucking talks about it. Not even I talk about it. I mean, okay, I did briefly mention it in some collab I made with some other guy, but I barely went in depth on the actual show. So yeah, I'm also guilty of this, but still, everybody should fucking talk about Time Squad because it's a good show. Okay, this is gonna be a little bit complicated because this guy worded his questions a bit poorly, so in some instances here, I might actually give an answer to a question that he probably didn't even make. Do you rarely take requests? I'm going to assume that he's asking why I don't take requests, and the answer is I find the idea of video requests to be kind of broken, because what a video request essentially is what an audience member wants to see from a creator, and sometimes the idea he has is something that could turn out to be good, but sometimes they could end up being shit that the creator doesn't give a shit. This is why I generally don't take requests, and when I don't give a shit about stuff, I might even find a way to talk about it. I might even somehow write a script for that topic that could be somewhat decent, but I also might kind of sound bitter and bored, and I don't want to do that. I want to avoid that as much as possible. Do you know any bad cartoons had fan base? Are you asking if I know any bad cartoons that have a fan base? I mean, I would say every cartoon has some fan base. I've even seen Robot Boy stands, so yeah. Don't you think that The Things, it's a YouTube channel using the Loud House characters and fan art and making weird clickbait? Again, I'm not certain, I'm not sure what he's trying to ask me. Is he asking for my thoughts on The Things? Because I think I've seen someone make a video on this channel. I don't remember who it was. I don't think I've ever seen a video from The Things, because I generally tend to avoid these kinds of channels, so meh. Why you slowly make video take you so long to upload a video? This is somewhat complicated. There are several factors that led me to slow my upload schedule. The first one has to do with something that I'm pretty sure I even touched on around 2017. I think it was in my video where I announced that I was gonna take a break, but essentially, I think I may have also uploaded a video on my second channel talking about this, but essentially, I haven't been watching that many cartoons recently. Like, the amount of time I put on actually watching animated shows was not the same as back in 2016, early 2017, and I mean, I could just upload videos touching on other topics, but most of the things I consume are things that I have zero intention on actually making a video, so, but that's just one reason. The other reason has to do with something that happened around 2018. Now, the story behind this is just way too fucking complicated, so I'm just gonna overly simplify things. Back in 2018, the number of classes I was taking on college reduced drastically. So as a result, I had more time to make videos than I did before, the years prior. And then around September, I got roughly the same number of classes that I would typically take. And by that point, I kind of forgot how to manage my time. And yeah, it's been pretty tight. This year is even worse because now I'm taking even more classes than I did a few months back, so yeah, these things don't really help. I wish I could at the very least upload 2 videos per month, like maybe like a 2-week upload schedule, but sometimes I just don't have the opportunity to do that. I wish things were easier. I wish I could go back to the prime days, back when I would upload a video every week, but I don't think that's possible anymore, at least in the meantime. What's your least favorite cartoon? I don't know, maybe the Powerpuff Girls reboot. I fucking hate it. 2 out of 10, garbage show. People say that it got better, although I did watch the first, I believe, 10 episodes of season 2 a few years back, and I didn't see any improvement. I think it was just as vapid as I remember it being, so yeah. What do you think of fan art based of bad cartoon? I don't know. I don't really have any opinion on that. I mean, if you want to draw fan art of a show I hate, do it. Don't give a shit. Question, where did you came up with the name TwistedDanns? Alright, let me share y'all a brief little story. A few years back, I had FIFA 10. And FIFA 10, well, I mean, pretty much every FIFA, when you create a player, there's a list of names you can choose that the commentator can say every time you're with the ball. But unfortunately, there's not really that much variety. I don't remember which name I specifically wanted. I think it was Dennis because my middle name is Dennison. So I think that was the name I initially wanted, but I couldn't find any. So I then resorted to Danns because it was the closest to a short version of my middle name as I could possibly find there. Yeah, I guess ever since then I sort of used that as my sort of nickname. As for Twisted, Twisted is just a reference to an episode of Evil Con Carne where Scar was all like, stick a knife into his back and twist, twist, twist. Have you ever thought about being a dictator? I mean, I definitely do think about it because a lot of the characters I like Mandy, Hector, Satania from Gabrielle Dropout, they all want to be dictators, so it's inevitable that I occasionally think about it. Although if I were a dictator, I'll probably be a really cringy one because I'm not a particularly charismatic person, so I probably come off as like the most autistic dictator in existence, unironically. How did you come up with your profile picture? Did you make that by yourself? Yes. And you know what? I want to change it because I don't really like it that much. I don't think it's well drawn. I don't think it's well painted. If I could get an artist to redraw that shit, I would, but I don't have any money for commissions, so for now I'm gonna have to resort to this stupid fucking avatar. Because of the Lucky Star picture, I figure you might be into anime. Are you?
Yes, I do. Hentai too.
Every episode of the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy Season 1 reviewed collab? No, I don't intend on doing that anytime soon. 5 questions. Is there any other anime you watch? Well, yeah, there are some I've seen. As far as ones that I'm watching currently, I'm watching Shield Hero. I'm sort of watching 2018's Captain Tsubasa, but I constantly forget to keep up with it. But I am sort of watching it. At some point I was watching Eureka 7, but I kind of forgot about it. But I mean, as far as ones that I've already finished, I'm gonna link my anime list, so that way I don't have to fucking list every single goddamn show I've seen. Was there any cartoon that you missed out on? I would say every Nicktoon out there because I did not grow up with Nickelodeon, so that was one of the few drawbacks I faced during my childhood. Thoughts on other game reviewers? I don't watch that many game reviewers, and the few ones I watch, they're not even necessarily mainly game reviewers, they more so occasionally talk about video games like Endless Jess and Best Guy. Do you have any PlayStation console? I have a PlayStation 2 and 4 in my room. I also have a PlayStation 3, but it's a couple of countries away. If you want to know what's my PSN account, it's just TwistedDanns. Do you have any favorite sitcom? I would say Community, but I also really like How I Met Your Mother, but I think I like Community more. What's a series or movie you felt was ahead of its time? I don't know, I can't really think of that many. I'm not really someone who watches old media, so so it's hard to think of examples of stuff that I think are ahead of its time. Any new cartoons you're looking forward to this year in 2019? I hope Infinity Train is coming out this year, because other than that, I don't think there's any cartoon I'm really all that excited for. I mean, don't get me wrong, that doesn't necessarily mean that I don't think there aren't any good cartoons that will come out. I mean, before I watched Hilda and Final Space, I wasn't even aware that they were going to come out last year. Didn't even know that they existed. Didn't even know that they were projects, but still enjoyed them. Still thought they were pretty damn good, so don't take my statement that I'm not excited for anything this year that seriously. And speaking of Hilda, as for your last question, I think I ended up watching a few of them after I reviewed it, but I haven't actually finished it. I just haven't really found the time to catch up with the remaining episodes that I still have yet to see. Favorite meme of 2018? Probably the is this a pigeon meme. Thought it was really funny. Eventually it kind of stopped like every meme, but I would say that the first few ones that popped up, especially the ones that were kind of making fun of people who think that smears is like bad animation, that one cracked me up. Least favorite cartoon episode? I don't know. What type of cartoon do you think Nick CN is missing? I would say more horror cartoons. I know that there are some that are like dark fantasy, and I appreciate their existence, but I want more cartoons to be sort of like Courage, at the very least the first season of Courage. If there are more shows like that, I would be pretty dang happy. I saw your DreamWorks Troll review and was curious, as the show is up to 6 seasons. What? Really? 6 seasons? Whatever. And movie 2 comes out next year. Do you think movie 2 could fix your issues you had with film 1 and at season 1 of Beat Goes On? Well, I guess it really just depends. I haven't really done any research on what the sequel movie might offer, but I'm just gonna say this. I find Trolls as a premise to already be broken. Even if the movie didn't contain the other issues I have, like the ugly color schemes and boring cookie cutter animated theatrical release formula bullshit. Even if those issues weren't there, I'd probably still not like the movie that much, simply because I just didn't find the premise of it to be that interesting. So I don't know what a sequel to it might do to fix it, especially because one of the issues I have with like the Netflix television show was the fact that I didn't think that there was any point in that show existing. Like, I felt like the character arcs for pretty much everyone was just done by the time the movie ended, to the point where I didn't really see any fucking point in anything that was happening. Something like Big Hero 6, I can actually see value in a television show existing, as it would allow the other members of Big Hero 6 to be fleshed out. But with Trolls, not really. I don't really care, and the few ones I did care, they already have their arcs completed, so I don't really get it. There's no point at all in this show even existing. What got you into CW The Flash? Well, I like Harrison Wells, I like the Reverse Flash as a villain, I like superheroes, I like this version of Barry Allen, and a lot of portrayals of like Barry that I've seen in other incarnations of the Flash, he comes off as kind of quippy, but in the CW show, he's not necessarily like a moody guy, but he's always serious, and I kind of like that. I think that it kind of makes more sense when you look at the situation he's in. For me, my favorite moments with him are always ones where he's constantly worried and anxious. There's just something very human to those little scenes. And I don't know, I think the show is pretty fun. Trolls The Beat Goes On has 6 seasons now, and I was curious if he would come back to do it again, as season 1 and 2 are the weakest, but seasons 3 to 6 got better quality. What the fuck? This is like the second time I got a question related to this show. Like, did it really get better? I mean, I don't know if I would go back to see it, but I mean, if it's getting better, then if you're one of those people who got invested in the show, then good for you. Are your opinions on Nerdwire the same as with Screen Rant? Yeah, pretty much. I mean, although I have seen some Screen Rant videos in the past, back when I didn't think they were shit. While Nerdwire, I don't think I've ever seen a single goddamn video from theirs, but I think that they are just as exploitive and corporate as Screen Rant based on the thumbnails and their overall topics. And I have like skimmed through some of their videos, and I don't know, it feels very vapid and corporate and shitty. I asked cause Nerdwire recently did a video on a certain CN show you love to death. He's referring to Billy and Mandy, obviously. You know, I initially didn't know what video he was referring, but apparently it's some video where Nerdwire lists all of the adult jokes in Billy and Mandy. I think everyone would forgive me if I were not to watch it, because for starters, I've seen Billy and Mandy like 1,000 times, so I know all of the adult jokes present there, and secondly, I'm not gonna watch a Nerdwire video. Like, we're in agreement to that, right? No one should watch a Nerdwire video. What's your take on the tendency of people having likability cloud their judgment of the actual writing of the character? I have a pretty huge problem with this. Now look, I understand how valuable it is for a character to be likable, especially if he's like the main character, or at the very least one of the main characters, because you know, you're supposed to stay invested in him. So if you're not endeared by the type of person he is, if you find him to be somewhat insufferable, I can understand why you would not stay invested in his journey. But at the same time, you can't just use that as like a main. I mean, okay, you know what? Fuck it. You can like whatever the fuck you want, but I think that this way of thinking is kind of stupid, because there are a lot of great characters, a lot of well-written, very compelling characters that might not necessarily be the most likable people in the world. And I mean, are you really gonna miss out on them because you just don't like the kind of person they are? Because for me at least, even if I don't find a character to be likable, which I can assure you, there are a lot of characters I've seen that I think are very interesting, but I do not fucking like them. I cannot fucking stand the type of person they are, but I can still enjoy their presence in the show simply because they're really interesting. There are also times when that character might end up evolving into someone even less likable than they were when the show started, or the other way around. Either way, that can be pretty goddamn interesting, but again, because you value likability so much, you just completely dismiss that. And again, you're the one who's in charge of your feelings on a certain show or a certain character and all, but I don't know, I feel like thinking that way is a bit damaging, and it keeps you from exploring some of the most interesting characters you can probably see in fiction. Would you say that both SJWs and anti-SJWs are both hypocritical sides that have devolved into what they hate, and by extension, do we live in a snowflake climate? I would say yeah, pretty much. Yeah. As someone who occasionally witnesses some instances of outrage online, mainly Twitter, specifically in like politics in media, I feel like people are way too fucking sensitive about shit. Like it's not really something specific to one side. It's a problem with both sides, both left and right. I've seen a lot of instances of people getting angry over shit that doesn't really matter that much. Like for instance, a couple of months ago, there were some people who were accusing Incredibles 2 of SJW pandering. Now, I have not watched the movie, so maybe I'm not the right person to share an opinion on this subject, but I don't know. From the descriptions I've heard from people discussing this, I don't really get it. I don't really see where's the SJW pandering, because apparently the issue had something to do with like Elastic Girl receiving spotlight, but I mean, I don't know. Is it really that pandering? I don't get it. But yeah, instances like these, I'm just like, this outrage is just way too overblown. This is actually one of the reasons why I can't fucking stand Twitter. I don't even know why I go there, to be honest. I just always get pissed off. I need to start muting people. Do you read comics? If not, would you ever transcend beyond being a casual? You know, I intend on doing that. I really want to read comics, especially superhero comics. But I mean, I guess one of the reasons why I have trouble getting into it is just simply because of how complex a lot of timelines can be. There's a YouTuber called A Dose of Buckley. He once released a sort of series of rants called Nerd Rants, where in one of the episodes he talked about how it's very difficult for newcomers to get into comics, and pretty much everything he said there is exactly the reason why I haven't fully dived into the world of superhero comics. But it's not something that I want to avoid forever. I think that eventually I will. I just need to find the right time. How would you rank the live action Spider-Man? Now this is very interesting. As far as my favorite, I would say maybe Homecoming. My second favorite, probably Spider-Man 2. My third favorite, I wanna say The Amazing Spider-Man 1, but it's been a while since I watched that movie and I'm not sure if it holds up. As for fourth, it really just depends on whether or not I like Spider-Man 1 or 2 more. Fifth favorite, actually it's not even favorite at that point, it's just, you know, fifth place. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 3 is my least favorite. Why do people allow fan base's toxicity affect their enjoyment of a character or series despite having no correlation with the actual quality? I wonder that myself. Now look, I understand, like, here's the thing. I understand that if you don't like a certain group of people, if you're like, for some reason, disgusted by that group, I can understand why you wouldn't want to associate with the one thing that unites all of them together. But when it comes to art, something you need to realize is that every single piece of media out there has a shit fan base. All of them. The reason why some fan bases might come off as worse than others isn't because they're actually worse than others, it's just that they get more attention. Like Rick and Morty, for example, a couple of years ago, I've seen a lot of people are like, yeah, what a fucking shithole of a fan base and stuff. And the reasons they were giving were honestly kind of petty, like cringy fan art, really. And yeah, I know there was the whole Szechuan sauce incident, but dude, I can tell you, I've seen stories of other fan bases that are much worse than the Szechuan sauce incident. The Rick and Morty fan base is nowhere near the most terrifying fan base I've ever seen. Not even fucking close. If you keep allowing a fan base to like affect whether or not you'll either like or even give a show a chance, you're just gonna miss out on a lot of good shows that you probably would like, but because a group of people that had no involvement in the actual creation of that show or movie somehow affected your judgment, like, can you not see how fucking dumb that is? Why won't you watch and review Stretch Armstrong and the Flex Fighters? I saw the first 2 or 3 episodes and I thought it was kind of boring. I initially wanted to give it a chance because I heard that some of the people who worked on The Spectacular Spider-Man, one of my favorite cartoons of all time, were also working on this show, but I don't know, I wasn't really into it. Like, the premise was kind of eh. The dialogue, I thought it was written kind of obnoxiously. I didn't think the action scenes were all that great. The art style has that 2000s anime-inspired shitty cartoon art style. I mean, it's not even really shitty, it's just, I'm just tired of it, and I don't know. I didn't think it was fun, that's it, I just didn't think it was fun. What are your thoughts on the rebooted Carmen Sandiego series on Netflix? It has been suggested to me several times. I might watch it because I like the aesthetic, but speaking from experience, don't be surprised if I end up forgetting that the show even exists. Do you listen to any music? Currently, not really. I don't really listen to any musical artist in specific. I don't really go out of my way to listen to music in general. That was something I used to do a few years back with dubstep, but not today. It's just not something I have the time to do. Do you like any Let's Play channels? No, I do not. The only Let's Play channels I watch are ones of channels that I already liked because of other content they make, like the Blue Glow. What are your thoughts on shipping? I think I made a video talking about why I didn't like shipping. I think I've changed my mind. I don't really care about shipping anymore. I think it's fine. I think if you ship characters that even if I don't necessarily agree on, that's fine. I don't really mind. Do you like any YouTube poops? Yes, I've seen some. I think my favorite YouTube pooper is Amp Lemon, although I will admit that my favorite videos from him aren't really YouTube poops, but I don't know, I still like the few ones I saw from him. What are your thoughts on College Humor? I used to watch them a couple of years back, not so much now. I haven't watched their videos in a while. I really like their skits. I think that they've made some really funny stuff. I like their Apple videos. I like their Bad Men videos. I mean, some of them are hit or miss, but the one with Superman was pretty funny. Story Booths, Sir Pellows, Cellpex, I don't watch any of them, sorry. And Grade A Underray. I like Grade A Underray. I know Grade A Underray is not really respected now, ever since a lot of things, but I don't know, I occasionally revisit some of his videos and I think they're pretty funny. I do think that he eventually went downhill. I think the videos he's been uploading since his revival, I guess, I didn't really like them that much. I didn't think they were that funny. But if we're talking about like Grade A in his prime, he's really funny. I still like his videos, with the exception of his drama videos. Like, aside from the reaction channel videos, the other ones are usually not that great, but his comedy videos are usually always funny. What are your top 5 shows you like to watch currently on Netflix? If we're talking about Netflix originals, pretty much none. Shows I tend to watch on Netflix are ones that they just simply licensed. Currently, I can't think of any I'm watching right now, so yeah, I don't really have an answer for this. Favorite type of dinosaur? It's very likely that I've answered this in the past. I think I said Velociraptor, so I guess I'm also gonna say Velociraptor. Do you play any computer games? If so, which ones? My laptop fucking sucks when it comes to video games. It's not very potent. I think the closest to playing any video games that I actually can do in my laptop is PSP games with my emulator, which even then I have to activate auto frame skipping, which sucks. So yeah, I don't really have any answer to this. Not that I think it matters all that much anyway, because I can't think of any PC exclusive games that I care. So I think that even if my laptop was potent, I wouldn't really have any answer for this. What are some horror movies you enjoy? I don't really watch horror movies, especially not as much as I used to around 2013, I believe. If you had asked me this question when I was 15, I think I was 15 around that time, I probably would have had an answer for this, but not now. I don't really watch it. Any fun phone app games you would recommend playing? I think I would recommend Sword Art Online Memory Defrag because it's the only mobile game I like. I guess also Blazing, but I got bored of that to the point where I uninstalled it, but I did have a little bit of fun initially. What's your favorite video game? I have some candidates, but the problem is that most of them are games that I have not played in a while, and I'm not sure if they hold up. Things like FIFA 12, Most Wanted, San Andreas, Mortal Kombat Armageddon. Actually, I'm not even sure if that's an actual candidate. I think I just have so many fun memories that I just kind of got excited, but I don't know if that would actually make it for my favorite. I mean, currently, as far as games that I've played recently, I mean, I love Storm 4. It's my favorite Storm. So I guess for now you could say that's my favorite game, but I don't know if this position is gonna remain for that long. Like, don't be surprised if a couple of months from now I change my mind. Anyway, I think that's all. Thank you for submitting all of the questions that you did. Sorry if I didn't have answer to all of the questions, but this is something that inevitably happens when you do a Q&A. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Bye for now.